Yes.
The hottest Paul Slatkus Good News broadcast, and the Pause of War for Peace as well. May is Military Appreciation Month, how the American Red Cross is recognizing and helping our country's military. We've done a lot of shows with the Red Cross and a lot of shows with the military, so this is a perfect opportunity, and we are very fortunate to have an American Red Cross spokesman and the Marine Corps veteran, Gerald Thomas, with us. Hey, Gerald. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's good to be with you, especially during the month of May, which is Military Appreciation Month. And as you mentioned, it's a time for us to recognize the contributions, the sacrifice, and the service of members of the armed forces, past and present.
Well, I think we know a lot, I know our audience knows a lot about the Red Cross and, the civilian population and all the good things, especially after disasters and fires and helping so many for so long. Tell us about how they're partnering with the military.
Our partnership with the military started at the Civil War, on the battlefields of Antietam. Claire Barton took a wagon train from D.C. to Antietam, Maryland, and provided support to our field hospitals. She helped identify wounded and wrote letters home to those service members' families. And that's something that we continue to do today. That means the communication between the military and their families is a congressional charter. It is something that we continue to do today through our Hero Care Network.
Hero Care Network. So now you're speaking as a American Red Cross representative, or speaking as a military representative?
No, that's a Red Cross thing. Is a Hero Care Network. It's something that we provide, a service that we provide to our military community, veterans and caregivers. It provides a means of communication. If there is an emergency that a family member is having and they need their military member home, we are able to locate that service member and help get them home. If they need financial assistance, we can provide that. One great example is when I was in combat in Iraq, my first sergeant received a emergency communications message, and his father had a massive heart attack. The Red Cross was able to find us and get the first sergeant home within 48 hours so he can be with his family.
Wow. So here's another thought that I imagine not all people wonder and know about: international aspects of the Red Cross. You're saying here they can, they worked in Iraq and helped you out there. Are they in other locations overseas?
Absolutely. We have Red Crossers in 37 overseas military installations. You mentioned, Red Crossers deploying into combat zones. So when our troops deploy, Red Crossers go with them. We have Red Crossers that are supporting troops in Djibouti, in Iraq, in Kuwait, in Poland, and Romania right now.
Wow. And how about in medical facilities?
We are in 140 military medical facilities, and we're in 170 veterans care facilities. And in those places, we have volunteers that are providing medical and non-medical support. We're providing comfort and therapy items, and we have volunteers that push around what we call a love cart, where they provide therapy and comfort items to patients, and also just kind of help spend a little time with them and have a conversation.
You mentioned the word caregivers or carekeepers. Who are you referring to in that scenario?
Yeah, our caregivers are folks that are taking care of a loved one that may have been injured due to their service, and that could be combat or that could be something that happened stateside. But they've chosen to take care of that loved one, and oftentimes caregivers can feel isolated. They can lose their sense of hope. Perhaps they need a little more training. We can provide that help to them through our military caregiver network, where we provide peer support to those caregivers.
I see, they sent me some background on all of this, which I truly appreciate here. It says Red Cross provides around 510,000 services to members of the military, veterans, and their families around the world each year. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing. Yes, it is. You know, that those services start when young men and women decide they want to serve their country and wear the cloth of this nation. With our Get to Know Us Before You Need Us program, we have Red Crossers that are there at a military entrance processing station, and they brief them on how the Red Cross can support them during their military service, whether they're deployed, and actually whether, you know, after they leave the service, all the things that the Red Cross can do for them.
Is the Red Cross a for-profit, a non-profit? Do they, I mean, to serve that many people, members, and so on, you must have the Red Cross must have a gigantic staff of paid employees, or you have volunteers. How does this all work?
We are a nonprofit, and 90% of our work is done by volunteers. We have a very large volunteer workforce and a very small paid staff workforce. So we rely on the generosity and support of the American public to come in and help us carry out this very critical work, whether it be supporting our military families or, you know, helping with disaster response. You know, those are all volunteers that make those things happen for us.
So are you saying, all right, there's a disaster somewhere, we have volunteers who have signed up through, how does someone sign up if they want to be a volunteer? Is there on a website?
They can go to redcross.org/volunteer, and they can decide which part of our work they want to support, or multiple parts of our work. They will receive training to get that work done. And yes, those are volunteers that answer the call when someone has a home fire. They're volunteers that get up in the middle of the night and go out to meet that family and help them recover from that fire. Or they're volunteers that go and answer the call when there's a family member, a military family member has an emergency and helps work that case to get their family member home.
We are talking about heroes here, aren't we?
We are, absolutely.
No doubt about it. And the Marine Corps, I'm going to add, because I've done a bunch of shows on this over the years, there's a bunch of heroes. There's this thing called the Toys for Tots. Did you ever hear of that?
I have heard of that, and that's, you know, a really great thing that's done by our Marine Corps Reserve in communities where they help out families in need, yes.
Wow, and it's massive up here in the New York area. Really, you know, so many toys are given through the Marine Corps, and I've had the honor to interview the people overseeing that for many years. Why did you join? Give me some background on yourself.
Sure. You know, my family has, you know, served. I had my grandfathers served in the Navy during World War II. I had uncles that served in Korea and Vietnam. And so service has been a big part of our family values. And, you know, when my time came, I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted that challenge. I wanted a chance to serve our country. And that service continues in my time now with the Red Cross, where it's really important for me to make sure our communities are better off. They're stronger and more resilient.
Now, they say the word, I hope you don't mind me asking, they say the word veteran. So does that mean you've been there more than 2 weeks?
Can you say that question again?
It says Marine Corps veteran, Gerald Thomas. So I said, does that mean that you've been there more than 2 weeks?
Yeah, a little more than 2 weeks. You know? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that service.
21 times 52 weeks. Yeah.
There you go. I knew there was going to be a bigger number. Well, you know, 21. Now you're of age. Now my other question, is, how do you associate yourself with the Red Cross, or in what capacity are you in that regard?
Sure. I started out as a volunteer. I started out, you know, supporting our Hero Care Network, and then the opportunity came for me to be a paid staff member, and I continued to do that work. And I've done, you know, work with our Hero Care Network, and now I'm a regional chief operating officer here in the Los Angeles region. Oh,
okay. All right. Good man. Thank you so much. Where were you brought up? What part of America? America?
In Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you have a little golf tournament down there.
Yeah, I heard about that Georgia place. Yeah, a lot of peach. There's something about peaches. I don't know. What is it? Something about peaches.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Well, Marine Corps veteran Gerald Thomas, working with now also the American Red Cross. My hat's off to you. Thanks so much for the important work that you and the whole organizations, both organizations, do. And it's an honor for us to get some time to share the good that you're doing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.